Right, so for today's video, we have a rare topic for this channel. We have actually spoke about this type of genre before, but it's marathon drama. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about a marathon influencer called Matt Choi. Now, admittedly, I'm a little bit late to this. It all kind of happened about 9 days ago as I'm recording this video right now. So yeah, a little bit late. I just didn't see it before, okay? Please let me off. But either way, Matt Choi is very well known in like the marathon running community. He's got 400,000 followers on Instagram. I believe he has about 800,000 across all his socials. And yeah, like I said, he is well known in this community, but he's had his fair share of controversies. And we are going to get into a few of them towards the end of the video, but first of all, I feel like it makes sense to start with the most recent stuff. This is what people are talking about right now. So this most recent situation started earlier this month, where Matt Choi uploaded this video where he had ran in the New York City Marathon. And I would play the audio, but it's just some copyrighted music. But as you can see by this video, it's just him running in the marathon. And as you can see, the person who is recording him is, first of all, keeping the camera very steady, but second of all, keeping up with someone who is obviously quite highly trained in this sport. Now, the reason for this was quickly revealed by Matt's Instagram story, but also by the people who were at the event that weren't happy with this. But this is what was happening, right? Matt was running and he had two people with him filming him while riding on bikes. So as you can see, this is one person on a bike, second person on a bike, and then here's Matt Choi. Now, straight away, it's quite the safety hazard, isn't it? If there's people riding the bikes on this track where there's only supposed to be people running, if Matt Choi is overtaking someone, which I'm assuming he did multiple times throughout the race, like I said, he's pretty highly trained in this sport, these bikes are going to have to weave in and out of people as they're running. Incredibly unsafe. And also, the main thing, it's not allowed, as we'll see by the repercussions because of this. Now, before we did see any repercussions, a lot of people at the race were complaining about this, saying, first of all, it's incredibly unsafe. People kind of like got barged into by the bikes. It made people's experience harder to actually get water at these stations because these bikes were in the way. It just kind of messed up the race for a lot of people. And bearing in mind, it's the New York City Marathon, right? It's a massive event, especially if you're into your running, something you would train for so long, you want to do your absolute best. And I can imagine it would be very annoying to have to put up with this. Now, before we do get any further, I do just want to give credit to Arif Girl on TikTok because I saw her video talk about the situation. That's why I'm aware of it. And she also showed some like comments from people who were at the event. Like this comment, for example, saying, "Your brother on the e-bike clipped my leg and blocked runners from trying to get water station twice. That was not okay." And then we have a reply here saying his brother did the same thing during Brooklyn Half earlier this year. They need to start placing permaban on this kind of shit. Now, like I said, we'll get to a lot of the previous stuff later on, but after the situation happened and Matt received a massive amount of backlash, I mean, if we go to the video, which by the way, is still up on his page, all the comments are just not happy with it. I honestly don't understand why you need a film crew to film you while you're running a marathon. You've completely lost touch with reality. It's F1's race and you're clearly impacting others by doing that. Film yourself like the rest of us normal content creators. Have your people that are cheering for you film you as you run by them, but keep the crew off the course. I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself, right? Whenever you see these videos of people running marathons, 9 times out of 10, they've got the phone in their hand and they're just recording themselves. Nothing wrong with that. But to create a safety hazard just because you want to record your content at an event which is such a big deal for so many people that are doing it, it is just incredibly selfish. Especially considering this isn't the first time he's done this. He's done this multiple times, like I said, we'll talk about it later, but he's received backlash every time, and he's continued to do it. Respectfully, I feel like this was quite dangerous to other runners out there. Have you ever fallen on a run, hurts pretty bad, and you go down hard? Imagine getting clipped by an e-bike and falling. Could have caused a very serious injury. NYC is a huge city and has plenty of opportunities to see loved ones along the course without riding an e-bike next to them. And this is just pretty much 99% of the comments, right? People just don't agree with this video. Now, because of this, Matt Choi faced a few consequences. The first one being that he was disqualified from the race and also banned from any future ones. As we can see by this post on the Runner's World mag, it says Matt Choi disqualified from the New York City Marathon after he ran with unauthorized e-bikes filming him. He is also barred from competing in future New York Road Runner events. And then we also have a statement here from New York Road Runners that says, after review and due to violations of World Athletic rules and the New York Road Runners Code of Conduct and Rules of Competition, NYRR has disqualified Matt Choi from the 2024 TCS New York City Marathon and removed him from the results. He has been banned from any future NYRR races. And then on top of that, one of Matt Choi's main sponsors, Runner, actually dropped him from the sponsorship. This is actually coming from the co-founder Ben Parker Fitness, who left an Instagram comment saying, "Thanks for your message." He's obviously replying to someone asking about it. "We want to be clear that this was not something that we at Runner knew was going to happen or support as a company, and we have decided to terminate our relationship with Matt effective immediately. I had agreed to run alongside Matt to the finish, pacing him to a sub 3, and and we had licensed photographers stationed throughout the course. So I was particularly upset and taken by surprise that his production crew joined on the course. I assumed that they had been given official media licenses given they were on the course and were wearing high vis. Okay, first things first, on this initial paragraph, we can see in here that Ben Parker Fitness was actually running alongside Matt throughout this, so he saw all this happening. Now, obviously, he's saying that he thought they got permission to do so. I don't know if he just assumed that, or Matt Choi told him that he was allowed to do this. I don't know, but he was there. Our ethos and entire mission is about inspiring and supporting runners around the world on and off the race course, and so we are deeply uncomfortable with what happened on Sunday. We've also since found out that Matt has done this before, which was not something that we knew about, and which was an oversight on our part. We are going to improve our ambassador screening process as a result. Now, this is something that I've seen a lot of people don't believe, because these situations previously have been so public, but maybe they weren't aware of it. If anything, if that is true, yes, they probably do need to improve their screening process, as he's saying right here, because it would be pretty easy to figure that out, right? It's a Google away. We expect all of our ambassadors and entire community to adhere to race safety rules and respect the safety of other athletes. Running should be for everyone. We will ensure nothing like this happens again, and thank you for your patience. We really value you sharing your feedback. And now, after all this happened, he'd been banned, disqualified, dropped from sponsorships, Matt Choi actually made an Instagram video taking responsibility.
I fucked up. This wasn't a video I was planning on making, but I have no excuses, full stop. I was selfish on Sunday to have my brother and my videographer follow me around on the course on e-bikes, and it had serious consequences.
Yeah, so like I said, to be fair, it seems like he is taking responsibility from what he is saying, right? He's saying it was a stupid decision to make. Obviously, it wasn't the first time, so it's interesting that he now thinks it's a stupid decision, because he did get backlash for it previously. But look, only time will tell, right? Hopefully he doesn't bring bikes to marathons in the future. That was genuinely a really unsafe thing to do.
We endangered other runners. We impacted people going for PBs. We blocked people from getting water. And with the New York City Marathon being about everyone else and about the community, I made it about myself. And for anyone I impacted, I'm sorry. To be clear, this is 100% on me. It wasn't my brother trying to get a shot. It wasn't my partners asking me to get content. I just got really excited about the thought of hitting sub 3 in New York, and I got overzealous about getting all the shots. I got an email from New York Roadrunners last night about the DQ and the lifetime ban at all future NYR events. And although there's an opportunity to appeal it, I'm not going to. I made my bed, so I'm gonna lay in it.
Yeah, so as you just said right there, he's not going to appeal it. I doubt the appeal would really do anything anyways. Clearly they've made a decision. The bikes were there. There's proof of the bikes being there. So I don't think an appeal would change anything anyways. But look, he's clearly saying all the right things, right? He's saying that he did endanger people. He ruined their possible PBs that they could have got. There was a lot of stuff, stopping people getting water. It was a shitty thing to do. But now at this point of the video, he goes on to talk about the previous situations.
I'm being called out for using e-bikes to shoot content, but that stops here. It won't happen again. My word is my bond.
Okay, so pretty short and sweet in terms of the previous situations. He just said, there was a previous time where I got called out for using e-bikes. It won't happen again. That's it. And hopefully he's telling the truth there. But in regards to the previous situations that I've referenced throughout this, I feel like I should probably add some context, right? So this first one, we actually have a post from a Twitter user called Derek Murphy, and this is what he had to say. Good afternoon. This isn't a results controversy, more of a follow-up on a previous offender of Instagram influencer Matt Choi. I ran the Austin Half Marathon today, and he and his crew totally ruined the race experience with his media circus posse. He had both a bike and an electric bike escorting him on the course, documenting footage for his Instagram account. The bike is no big deal. They mostly stayed off the course and just went back and forth. The electric bike, however, was weaving in and out of runners on the race course, cutting runners off, and his behavior continued throughout the first half of the marathon. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't need to explain how dangerous that is to be weaving out on a bike in front of all these runners who are trying to run at the absolute best, especially when you get towards the end of these races. Can you imagine being 20 miles deep and then you've got someone who's weaving in and out of you on a fucking e-bike? It's just so dangerous. Something could have went wrong. Thankfully, it seems like nothing did. But, yeah, I don't understand the thought process at all. The person on the electric bike was filming footage from Matt's Instagram account and doing so at the expense of other runners' racing experience. Not only is this dangerous, it is extremely inconsiderate. I asked both the guys on the electric bike and Matt himself to please get the bike off the race course and to stop weaving in and out, but this request was ignored. This type of behaviour needs to be squashed before it gets worse. Self-documenting with your cell phone is one thing, but hiring a crew to follow you on course, interfering with other runners is totally not cool. I hope you can bring some attention to this so it can be addressed before it becomes a more common occurrence at other races. Now, obviously, ironically, it did become a more common occurrence at other races. And by the way, this post is from February 2023. That's how long it's been going on for. And in fact, on Matt Choi's own Instagram account at the Austin Marathon this year, February this year, so a year after the post we just read, there's a video where he's doing the same thing again. He's got someone filming him and someone like flips him off. One of the other runners flips him off in the video and he uses it as like a moment to be like, we need to be nicer to each other when he's the one being incredibly inconsiderate. Spread love to everyone, especially the haters. So as you see, the guy sticks up the middle finger. This is at mile 3.5 at the Austin Marathon. I was eating a gel and this man gave me the finger mid-race. And his response was, have a good race. He's so kind. Sometimes the people you need the most empathy and compassion are the ones that don't like you.
Always spread love, though. Everyone to hate him.
Always spread love, though. There's power in being the bigger person. So you get the point, right? He used it as a moment to be like the bigger person and be incredibly kind, even though he's the one being incredibly inconsiderate and dangerous, and people have called him out for it multiple times over. But the thing is, and I hate to say this because I could be wrong, right? But at this point, he didn't care that he got backlash for this, right? But as soon as his sponsors dropped him and he was banned from more races, then we got the apology video. It seems too coincidental, doesn't it? I mean, maybe this time round is just the time where he was like, you know what, I really do need to stop this, and it's got nothing to do with the money going away from the sponsorship or being banned from races. Maybe it has nothing to do with that. And it is just a coincidence, but you can see why people think it is just because of them reasons. There was also another situation where Matt Choi got a bunch of backlash because he used someone else's bib at a race. Now, his reasoning for this, that we'll get into in a second, is because he wasn't signed up to the race, so he used someone else's bib that was no longer going to do the race, which in some cases you can do. You can transfer the bibs into different people's names, but at this race in particular, you couldn't. And he still did it. On January 15th, running influencer Matt Choi completed the Houston Marathon in a time of 2:59.35. Even though he didn't achieve his goal of running fast in 2:50, Choi still hit a Boston Marathon qualifying time. Oh yeah, so that's a key detail as well. Because of his time, he would have qualified for the Boston Marathon. However, Choi's name doesn't appear on the results page. How can that be, as he still shared numerous videos from the course with a race bib attached to his black running shorts? Was there a timing malfunction? Did his bib fall off? As it turns out, Choi never signed up for the Houston Marathon. He ran with someone else's bib. Marathon Investigation, a website that inspects suspicious race results, looked into Choi's transgression. The website often searches for race bandits, which refers to those who run a race without a bib. Choi did have a bib, but he took it from a friend. That's not an uncommon practice. Some races allow bib transfers between runners, but the Houston Marathon rules clearly forbid bib transfers. Therefore, Marathon Investigation concluded Choi's actions was worse than simply banditing. Firstly, he did not pay for the bib, and therefore did not earn a spot in the race. Secondly, he artificially inflated someone else's race results. Whether it was intentional or not, Choi became a bib mule, someone who runs in another person's place to hit a qualifying standard. And then here we actually have a video around the same time, like after this event took place, where Matt is talking about the situation.
I got shit on at the Houston Marathon for being a bib mule. So I ran the Houston Marathon. I was making a ton of content. I'm gonna PR at this race. 3 weeks going into the race, I had a friend of mine who was like, yo, I don't see your name in like the registration. I just have so much shit going on, I forgot to sign up. This race had sold out. I have a buddy of mine that lives in Atlanta. He's got 50 runners coming to this race. I'm like, yo, do you guys have any extra bibs? He was like, yo, we got 3 extra people, like 3 extra bibs. People aren't coming. I started doing research on the race, and you're not allowed to transfer bibs.
Okay, so he literally did find out before doing the race that he wasn't allowed to do this, and still did it. Like, look, right, if this was one thing, fair enough, stupid mistake. I think it's just the constant pattern of being selfish in these races and doing things that he's clearly not allowed to do. It just happened so consistently.
I ended up qualifying for the Boston Marathon. The illusion was I ran under someone else's name to get them into Boston. So then there was this whole debacle of like, Instagram influencer is a bib mule and a fraud and a cheater and all this shit. By far the boldest moment was just owning that mistake and being comfortable losing out on all the brand deals, because I'd rather die on my own sword than someone's perception of me.
Okay, so that's his explanation. Now, because of these situations that I've spoke about and some more situations that I haven't even spoke about, Matt Choi doesn't exactly have the best reputation in the running world. And in fact, there are multiple videos by multiple different people on TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, who want to express their thoughts on Matt Choi and his reputation, and this one in particular is by runner Rob.
Why does Matt Choi get so much hate? Yeah, he did bib band at the Houston Marathon and feign ignorance. Yeah, he had a crew of e-bikes at the Austin Marathon that disrupted the race for other people. Yeah, he's relatively new to running and tries to come off as an expert with bargain bin and sometimes harmful tips. Yeah, he charges $50 to download his online training program. Yeah, I guess that's why people hate run-fluencers.
Yeah, and this video we just watched was actually before this most recent situation, so I guess that's another one to add to the list. Obviously, he did mention the previous e-bike situation, but it's happened multiple times clearly, right? And who knows, maybe there'll be no more situations in the future, right? I feel like it's not that difficult as like a running influencer to kind of just go and do these races, do your best. If you need to, hold your camera in your hand and record it. You can make good content out of that. You don't need to do it at the expense of other people who are also running the race, who have trained just as hard. And especially considering there definitely would have been some people in that New York City Marathon where that might be the only marathon they ever do, right? That might be their big moment. They've trained so hard just to do this marathon. They're not a consistent runner like Matt Choi where you do multiple different marathons. This is their big moment, and that has been diminished because of this whole situation where they've had to dodge some e-bikes, they couldn't get water when they wanted to. It's just a really shitty situation. You can see why there was so much backlash. But like I said, hopefully he has learned from this. Hopefully nothing like this happens again. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about. And if you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.